Welcome to Warhammer 40K Warrant of Trade Chat Valorant Season 2, Episode 24, United We Stand. I want to talk about something real quick. An issue that bothers me. Alright, we started the Arch server, and I've barely been able to play, okay? Been doing lots of good work. Oh, wow, the volume was really good on this one. Thanks, Spoon. Thanks for that resub. The new volume testing going great. Perfect. I didn't blow out my eardrums. Yeah, so new Arch server. I haven't gotten to play because I've been in and out of the hospital. Then I've just been busy in real life. You know, the game is like, you can raise dinosaurs. I haven't raised a single fucking dinosaur. I was going to do it today, and then the server crashed.
Let me tell you.
So I couldn't raise any fucking dinosaurs. But here I am. Dave is like, I want a map. I want a map that has fucking fishing. And I'm like, fine, you know what? We'll play the map that has fishing. And I'm going to set my house up right next to the fishing spot so I can hang out with Dave. You know what? Dave has never even fucking logged in to the... And don't... Pondo, don't... No, Pondo, don't. No, you're in this too, Pondo. Yeah. Where are you, buddy? Where are you? Cotton was gonna make a second tribe, a competitive tribe, so that, you know, we could have a little RP there. Where was Pondo? Pondo was nowhere to be found. Now she's part of our tribe, buddy. She's part of our tribe.
I was painting for her bridal shower, not bridal, baby shower.
All right. Well, you know what?
Arthur, how weird is it that the two gentlemen who have babies on the way can't fucking show up to your Arch server?
I just want to play with my friends, guys. Especially you, Dave. You went out of your way to turn Fishing Mania on. I can't fish. Everyone's like, you need sap. And I'm like, where do you get sap? And they're like, on the other side of the island. If you use the rare tree sap tap and a tree stand, you can get one sap every 4 hours. And I'm like, one fish every 4 hours? And then they're like, well, actually, because we have 4 taps in the tree, that's divided by 4. So I might be able to catch a fish sometime next week. It's possible.
You gotta find yourself a honeycomb. You gotta find yourself a... You gotta make. I did find a honeycomb.
The bees killed me instantly. They knocked me off of my flying mountain. I fell to my death.
Yeah, you gotta get that queen bee, and then you bring the queen bee back, and you make your own.
I don't
honey.
have any queen bees. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna unleash a bear squadron on these fucking.
Please tell me that the bee hitting you and you falling to your death is recorded.
No, if you want to hear about stories of me being hit and falling to my death, it happens all the time. One time I was just flying randomly through a forest and something called a microraptor jumped at me and I was like, oh, I dodged that. That was pretty good. Then like 5 more of them hit me and dragged me to the ground. I fell hundreds of feet to my death.
Oh my
and the
God.
thing is, when it happens, I have to bring a second flying mount to go find the first one, because the first one's just like, oh, I guess you're dead. It's time for me to rejoin Dino Society. I lost 4 mounts today. It's rough, man. I spent all my time tracking down Argentavises and shooting them in the butt. Spent way too much time tracking down Argentavises and shooting them in the butt, all right? I'd like to do something else.
I might actually be able to join pretty soon. Like, the reason why I've been super busy lately is because I'm in the process of setting up another company. And, you know, we're in the first trimester of the baby stuff. So everything is, like, crazy at the moment. And everyone's paranoid all the fucking time. But literally everything. Like, the other thing is, too, my wife is asleep. So I can finally have coffee because she has pregnancy nose. And everything smells like shit to her. So I literally can't have coffee.
I've never heard of this.
Neither have I.
I had the same issue with Cotton, where if I made some sort of meat, it would make her nauseous.
Yep.
I feel you. It was a sad moment because I just got a sous vide and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be nice.
Sous vide are very good. Yeah. Anova?
It's funny for Cotton to crave wet bread.
Ooh, please.
That won't happen.
It doesn't sound right.
I would be amazed. I would sell
lime ice cream with extra salt.
So far, the only weird thing my wife has wanted is like pickles and like sour shit and like weird stuff like that. But that seems pretty normal, right? Like that's like what they do in Hollywood when women are pregnant. They're just like, I want to eat the entire pickle jar, and it's like, okay, eat the entire pickle jar. That's fine.
All right.
You know.
That's my rage.
Sorry, Arthur.
I'm just looking for cool dino partners. Everybody else has left me behind. They're like, hey, even Cotton's been like, hey, I've been to the desert. And I'm like, where's the desert? She's like, oh, down there. And I'm like, I've been 10 feet away from my house. Every time I leave, I get killed by some sort of giant knock you off your mount monster.
Yeah.
I found the first thing I found was an albino T-Rex on a raid. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to take this albino T-Rex home. And that was it. That was the whole thing I did.
So have you been enjoying yourself with the game, though? Like, do you like it?
I want to hatch these fucking dodo eggs. They're 10 minutes away from hatching, but every time I try to hatch them, something tries to eat them. So I make a nice shelter for them. Something blows up the shelter. So now I make a much larger, more secure shelter. Then the temperature's not right. So I fucking create a bastion of AC units and bears and 4 penguins to surround the eggs so that they could survive 1,000-degree heat. The flames of the sun could not affect these. But what did affect it is the server crashing. I just want to hatch these eggs, man.
I think the answer is yes, Dave.
Are you doing default imprinting?
I don't know what that means. I tried to make some changes to the server, and the server just
Have you actually? Like,
I have not hatched anything, Dave.
Okay,
I'm inches away.
You're in for hell because imprinting a dinosaur baby is like the worst thing you could do with Ark.
I'll get to that when it comes to it. I wish I could say I'm going to do it tomorrow, but I have 3 episodes of BattleTech tomorrow, so I probably won't be playing any Ark again.
Yeah, imprinting is the worst thing to do. Like you'll hate it. I hated it.
You have 3 episodes of BattleTech tomorrow?
Yes. I have the special Sunday episode of BattleTech, Solaris Nights with Varen, that I scheduled a few weeks ago. Then we've got Oath of Endosteel, which is the prep match before you and James and Rad come on as special guests for the mid-season finale. Yeah. And then tomorrow night, I have Gleemo and Asator doing the Scottish Highlander challenge, the Feats of Strength.
Gotcha.
Where they get their ass whooped. They're absolutely going to
thank you for reminding me. I want to watch Highlander on Netflix while it's there, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. How is the desk build going, Pondo?
I mean, it's mostly done.
Has it elevated you to another height?
No, I have more deck space than I know what to do at this point because it goes about another 8 feet that way.
That's just where you set up your mini painting station, right?
Yeah, that's going to be part of it, and then I have no idea for the other.
I've been looking into getting a second PC for a capture card, and now I'm thinking I need an L desk.
Hey,
I already have a second desk just to hold the PS5.
Pondo, here's what you do. You set up an Etsy store.
No.
Where you make hand-folded, handcrafted leather wallets.
Nope.
Okay. You'll make so much money. No, that's not really.
What are you, Luna Zulu Tango?
Yeah, I was literally about to make that joke off, though. All right. Fuck you.
Don't fucking steal from him. Don't steal his ideas. The man's out here working hard to make wallets and other leather things.
Good old LZT. Yeah.
No, yeah, I got that. I've been trying to paint and get everything set back up, like the kitchen. I painted all the cabinets in the kitchen, and there's probably about I want to say it's like one whole wall is pretty much cabinets, and then I'd say about 5 or 6 feet out from the left and the right.
I have legitimate question here, Pondo, and I don't need you to take offense to this. Are you and Cotton tall people? Or are you like medium?
I really
height?
doubt Cotton is tall.
No,
I think Pondo is though. Isn't Pondo 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3". I don't know.
Okay, so does your kitchen have the like?
Oh, the
really
the
high
cabinets go all the way up.
Okay.
So if I wanted to play a try, and she's only 5'2", so if I wanted to play a prank, I just move all the stuff up out of reach.
Prank? Nah, man, that's where you put all the stuff that you don't want her to snack on. You know what I mean?
That's where all of your snacks go.
That's a bad thing to do at this current time because
my wife likes to bake, but she puts all the baking goods up on the top shelf, so I always know when she's going to make a cake because she's like, honey, can you come and get this stuff down for me?
I won't need it that often, except all the fucking time.
I think after a certain point, I'd be like, can you please put his stuff on the bottom shelf? I won't be there all the time.
But then you don't realize how much he uses the other cabinets, right? And then you're just like, oh man, I can never win this argument now.
So I was telling somebody this week about when I left a job because the manager and I in the past had a disagreement. And I think it was over the fact that I was always a real jerk to this guy about his height because he was really short. He was 5'1". And I used to make lots of jokes at his expense. And because I was the operations manager, one day he asked me to put in some pigeonholes so that when we got like brochures or mail for people, they could all get put in their pigeonholes. So I built a set, but put his at the very top.
You
because
sassy motherfucker!
He's the manager, right? He's going to be at the top, but he was too proud to about it. So he went and bought one of those little library stools to put beside the pigeonhole, so you could get up on it. So I got a black text for him, wrote Scott Stool on the side of the stool. So surprisingly, that job didn't work out.
Oh, yeah, shocker.
I'm surprised he didn't climb that fucking pigeonhole lattice like a ladder.
You're a fucking HR nightmare. I want you to know that, James.
No, they're obviously ordered in by rank, right? So
yeah, hey, I've played Cards Against Humanity with my team. I'm definitely an HR nightmare.
Yes, you are indeed the biggest, blackest dick. There you go. Come on, that was a little funny. I just saw Pono's reaction and I was
I'm trying to think of retorts. Nothing is coming out.
Got anything else?
That's the whole point of the card.
Nothing much, but as far as desk goes, I need to get a hole saw to drill some holes. That way I can get some wires through without having to stretch it and at maximum tensile strength.
Gotta get that cable management going.
Yeah. And then the other thing I need to get stuff to kind of soundproof to dampen because there is an echo in here.
Just put some carpets on the walls.
That's what I was going to do. Something akin to that. I just have to actually get it. But
did you ever consider doing like a standing desk now that you like had the opportunity to like redo your desk setup or anything like that?
I did, but I don't have the budget for that at the moment. Because even to get like the frame for it is about $400. Which
really?
You just have to, it's just to get the frame to where it's the automatic is about $400. I mean, you could do it cheaper.
You could just get a like really tall desk and then just have a really tall seat, like if you wanted to sit down or something. Like a baby stool.
Just get one of those silencing work cubes. Does anyone remember when those came out right before COVID?
Mm-mm.
They're like special $5,000 pods that you can put at your work area to turn it into a privacy zone. People would they liken them to like camping inside of your office.
Do you mean like the wagey cages?
It's
like
a cubicle.
They look like ones that were like a telephone booth.
Yes,
they're like the suicide booth.
Yeah, they're like a suicide booth. They're like privacy cubicles or something, and people were like, "This is going to change the whole industry." And someone was like, "You know what would change the whole industry? Private offices, rather than working in a cubicle."
So depressing after this. There must be people watching the show who have no idea there used to be telephones just out in the street.
There's
public use.
What are you talking about? Those still exist.
Do they? I'm not here. They don't.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Wait, you've been in New York City before. They're fucking everywhere.
No, I've never been in New York City. I've been in New York a lot, but not New York City.
All right, well, let me tell you something. You've never lived life until you've, prank called someone from a New York City public telephone for like 25 cents.
So James has the same experience with New York that I do, where you get to know JFK really well,
but you never actually go. What can I say? Use LaGuardia next time. I don't know. Visit Princeton. I don't know. Pick your travel destinations better.
I spent Christmas Day Eve in JFK one time.
Wow, that's horrible. That's absolutely terrible. Not that you were alone, but that you spent it in JFK. I spent any time in JFK.
I remember that was the time I perfected the hobo hug. You know what the hobo hug is? It's where you have your only luggage and you hug it and fall asleep to make sure no one steals it.
That's just a regular hug, man. I don't know about you.
Oh man, hugging your luggage.
I once had to spend 10 hours in Dallas Fort Worth. So I went to a TGI Fridays and had appetizer. Then I went to a different terminal to a different TGI Fridays to have a main, and then a different terminal to a different TGI Fridays to have my dessert, just to pass time.
I was just in Dallas Fort Worth Airport, and I ate my dinner across the hall from a TGI Fridays.
I guess we know that James really likes TGI Fridays for some reason.
or that there's just a lot of TGI Fridays in the Dallas Fort Worth.
You guys don't understand how much of a novelty diners are to anyone who's not American. Like, I shit you not. Like, there was one of my favorite places to go in San Francisco was this diner called Wendy's or something. It wasn't Wendy's, but it was like a diner called Wendy's. And it was just like, well, what is the most American meal you can have? You go to a fucking diner because you can get like a malt shake with like onion rings and like
a good steak to go with your burger,
or
mashed
like
potatoes,
that, right?
no green objects anywhere on your plate.
But then also you can get pancakes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
The first time I had chickens and waffles was at like fried chicken and waffles was at like a fucking diner.
I don't understand why people like chicken and waffles. It's not really that good.
Savory and sweet.
The one thing I miss about dining in America is unlimited fountain drinks. Like every time I go to a restaurant or a pub here for dinner, it's like, I'll have another Coke, thanks. That's another $4. Another Coke, $4.
What the shit?
I actually had to break the habit of stopping a waiter from like filling up my Coke because I thought she was gonna charge me for that shit. I was like, no, bitch, what are you doing? Don't fill this up.
What we need to do
like, oh, okay.
is get James to visit the Coke headquarters in Atlanta and go on the Coke tour there. Shit's amazing. You'll spend all day drinking 2 million flavors of Coke. They're like, all right, well, this is where we make Coke, and as you can see, there's a Coke fountain right behind us. Let's walk 5 feet this way. There's another Coke fountain right here, just in case you get thirsty. This is the CEO's office. Coke fountain right behind you again.
That sounds awesome.
Yes, the Coke tour is incredible.
All I know is
every worker at that place drinks Pepsi. Like, they have to, right? Like, if you think about
Georgia
it, like,
loves Coke, man. They fucking love it.
I don't know if I told you the story before, but I worked at a business here that had a vending machine, and they had no Diet Coke in it. And when the guy came to refill it, I said, could you put Diet Coke in this machine? He said, oh, no, well, we worked out there's not enough female employees here to put a Diet Coke in the machine.
I fucking love Diet Coke. I can't find it here in Poland.
I ain't trying to drink that aspartame, fools. Don't give me that Diet Coke. You want Coke Zero?
No.
Oh, so here Diet Coke is phenylene and Coke Zero is aspartame.
I don't know what that means.
There's just different sweeteners. Phenylene is the one that's carcinogenic.
That sounds terrible.
Look, man, I'm trying to get a thin layer of paint inside of my body so that when the nuclear bomb eventually goes off, I'll be fine.
Just hide in an old refrigerator. Jesus, this isn't that hard.
I will be a refrigerator by that point, Arthur.
Technically, you are a refrigerator. You store food inside of yourself at a specific temperature.
I'm an insulator, not a refrigerator.
All right. Look, Spoon, let's just finish your intro or whatever we're doing.
Start my intro.
I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no. So I'm back from Texas. Convention was pretty fun. It was good seeing folks again. It was a little strange in Texas because nobody's like, only like a tenth of the population is wearing a mask. But pretty much everybody was vaccinated who showed up to the convention. So it was a lot of fun. Played some old school Renaissance games. Got to see some folks that I hadn't seen in a year and a half, but I'm now a year older, so I'm now 33.
Congratulations on the birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for me.
How many birthdays did you have under quarantine?
This would be my second.
Okay,
That's
but
terrible.
wait. Okay, yeah.
So,
I think I'm going on number 3 under quarantine. Yeah.
What? How is that possible?
Because Poland quarantined super early.
No, that's not. It's literally impossible to have had 3 birthdays in 18 months.
2019.
No,
2019.
I'm not gonna argue.
Early March is when we went into quarantine in Poland.
COVID didn't come out until COVID didn't start until December of 2019.
Yeah.
So you'd be 2020 March.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it was 2020, but it started like, I remember like that it was my 30th birthday. I'm pretty sure it might have been my 30th birthday. I don't know. It was a long this has been a long quarantine, boys.
Yeah.
I think that Dave just let slip that COVID came out of a Polish lab. We need to call the media.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. If there's one thing Poland is known for, it's their laboratories of mass destruction.
It's their bioweapon scientists.
Because we got so many places to hide it here.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I'm pretty sure that in the game SOCOM 3, the final mission is literally in a Polish sewer fighting a bioweapons designer. And I remember it because not only was the level incredibly long and incredibly gray, but it was also very Polish. I felt depressed with every step I took, with every bloop tube I fired.
So there's a funny story there because you know how Americans, when they look back at the war, they're like so patriotic. They're like, yeah, we were freedom fighters or whatever. Polish people, when they look back at the war, they're just like, man, we should still be depressed today, right? That is the takeaway that we have. If we're not depressed right now, then our forefathers fought for nothing, right? Like that's yeah. They have a very different look at like the war stuff. There was like a memorial that we went
40K? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, Poland is basically the death corpse of Krieg.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, we're off. We feel terrible. We won the war. Cool. We still feel terrible.
In the birthplace of the Second World War and the First World War, yeah, no, they hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dave, what do you got going on?
What else? What? Put down the reservation for the house. That was really, really interesting process to go through. Because it was just like, all right, how much do we have to give you? 10,000? Okay. And there's like, yep, cool. You've got a house reserved now. And I was like, man, shit, it was way too easy to do that. I don't know how I feel about that. So starting up the second company, trying to start that off real good. All the Kinky Fridays sales, businesses, whatever is going pretty good. Nothing to complain about there. And mostly just like existing, really. I mean, pregnancy I thought would be easier than what it is. But because you watch all those fucking movies, right? All those Hollywood movies or whatever, and the ladies are working all the way up until like month 8 of their pregnancy, you know, and my wife's like, all right, I've been awake for 2 hours, I'm going back to bed now. Goodbye. Every day she sleeps for like 15 hours, so like on top of the 8 hours she get at nighttime. So
It's any consolation, Dave.
Go ahead.
I say with my wife, with our last child, she went into labor at work. So
oh, joy. That sounds fun. But yeah, no, it's like I know that every woman handles it differently, and Joe's mum was very much the same. She was like, yeah, I woke up to eat, use the bathroom, then I'd be back to bed. Like a fucking bear. Hibernation. So, you know, it's an interesting experience, I will say that much, but you know, it's it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, life is pretty much just the same. I mean, I really want to get on to play this fucking Arc thing, but every time that I think I have some free time, it's like someone else will pester me about something, and it's like, well, I could be playing video games, but that would be me ignoring all my responsibilities. I can't justify that. But yeah, I don't know. E3 is going on right now. The new Battlefield looks fucking awesome, but I'm holding my reservations until I see gameplay, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting to see what the new Final Fantasy looks like as well, because I think that is like one of the biggest problems I have with Final Fantasy games is that they always look childish to me. Like they always have like this. I know Arthur's shaking his head, but like the beginning of every single Final Fantasy game reads like a fucking what is it, like a fairy tale. Yeah, it's just kind of like this really like
Final Fantasy X literally starts out in the middle of a water soccer game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. That's complete.
It starts out in a water soccer game in a place that doesn't exist.
Sure, with people that don't exist too. Yeah. Sure.
Correct.
And Final Fantasy VII starts out in the middle of a terrorist attack on a power station.
I believe what you mean is a revolutionary freedom fighter attempting to stop global rampant economic disaster capitalism. And by the way, he's a mercenary, so I don't know that it's really a terrorist attack per se. I mean it's just a day job.
They're basically Greenpeace, right?
Let me clarify here. When I say Final Fantasy, I really mean modern Final Fantasy. So
sure,
you know,
let's talk about Final Fantasy VII-R. That's pretty modern. I'd say it's the most modern Final Fantasy game. Speaking of, Intrigue is out, and I should probably play it.
I would not consider remasters to be a.
Have you? First off, have you played it yet?
The remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Arthur, I barely have time to get into Arc.
Listen, here's the thing. The remake takes what is like 3 to 4 hours of the beginning of the game and turns it into a pretty solid 60-hour experience. It's not the same.
I know. They're really milking the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing. I can't wait for the next 20 installments.
Also,
I'll be on my fucking deathbed in my 70s and I'll finally beat Safer Sephiroth.
Also, isn't like the first 15 hours or 15 to 20 hours of 15 just a car ride with
see, that depends.
That's the best ride of your life.
First off, when I played 15, there's a point where you're supposed to go off and start exploring the map. I did it before then. Like there's a point that I was like 80 hours in the game and they're like, we should go to a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere that no one's ever been to. And I'm like, oh, I've been there like 10 times. I've done everything there. I've fished all the fish in the sea from there. And they're like, yup, no one's ever been there. We're going to have to drive in slow motion. No fast travel. And I'm like, no, please, I already did this. No!
But going back to E3 real quick, I don't know. I mean, like
Listen,
I'm
16 is going to be
see...
sensational. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think so too. When I saw that trailer for it, I was like, okay, I'm interested. That's like the first time I've been interested in a Final Fantasy game.
So it's an even number, so it's a fantasy setting, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's like
That's not how it works, but okay.
I thought that every even one's fantasy and every odd one's sci-fi. Or
No,
like
9 was fantasy and 8 was sci-fi.
But are you including the MMOs into that count?
I thought there were various rules, like about which ones use Gil or
No.
use some other thing. Like there's okay.
No, there are no such rules.
So the other two games I'm looking forward to is Back for Blood. I want to see more of that.
The trailer is tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
It's
tomorrow.
right after the Final Fantasy.
Yep, and I want to see Payday 3. I'm really interested in seeing what those guys do. Yep. But other than that, I mean, like, I don't know. It's really weird sitting through a digital event, like knowing that that's all there is with E3 is very strange.
I've seen E3 for years. E3 is like a bunch of really uninterested journalists in the first few rows going, yay. And if they can, and the company has enough money, they'll stack all the remaining seats with like hundreds of adoring fans or paid shills. And that's why you know that Microsoft is going to have a lot of cheering, and I don't know, everyone else won't.
Yeah, so that's kind of the...
Instead, we skip all of that bullshit and we just show the trailer.
No, what I love isn't so much... Okay, so I think one of the most overrated jobs you could ever have in the entire world is being a video game fucking journalist, okay? The one time in the year where they actually have to do work is E3. So to me, when people actually go and do like the work and they actually like interview people and talk to people and get to know their products and actually report on products that are coming out and, you know, and actually be like a journalist for reporting new media and stuff, that's when it's actually interesting to me because, you know, in a lot of cases, they're actually like using their position as a journalist to give a fair review on products that they normally wouldn't see. And you don't get that with the digital stuff. Like they're not sending, you know, preview copies to journalists just for the sake of like promoting an E3 product or anything like that. They're just not doing closed door product reviews or anything like that here. So anyway, sorry. That's me. I know James really wants to fucking nail the ending of this episode or something like that. So,
well, let me touch up my intro here. I have one more thing to add for all of my fake Grand Order fans. I know there's like 2 of you out there. After the reveal of the latest storyline in Japan, which is 2 years ahead of us, people are losing their fucking minds over all of the new releases. Because it's like evil fairy, gender-bent versions of already existing characters. And people, the thirst levels are unreal right now. I think that after a long COVID fallow market right now, they're just like, oh my god, we're getting so much money right now, guys. It's crazy. And I just want to say, fake Grand Order, it's good that you're back. Unfortunately, I now have to suffer through 2 years of COVID development. So yeah, it's gonna be it's not that much going on in fake Grand Order for the next 2 years.
So are they gender bending the characters that you know, that don't really have like a defined gender to them as well?
No. I mean, they've already done that several times. Like Chevalier d'Aeon.
Or like a fellow? How do you say his name? The one that shows up for everything. Astolfo, yeah, that guy. Are they gender bending him as well? Because they won't change anything.
Listen, no comment. The Astolfonomics are too difficult for me to explain. I don't understand it myself.
I watched the mathematics.
So what I heard there is that they've worked out that people spend more money buying scantily clad anime girls, and so they work out if they take all the guys they created and make them girls, they can get more money.
But here's the thing. They've done that before and it hasn't worked. But this particular one, I don't know. It's like they hit 3 winning cards all at once. And the thing is in like a week and a half, they're going to release the second half of the story build. So there will probably be at least 3 more. Will they all continue to be super successes? Who knows? Who knows?
James clearly doesn't know about Fujo shit.
Fujoshi?
Yeah, Fujoshi. Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking weird, dude.
Come on, are you saying that the guy who works in that particular industry shouldn't know about this stuff? Come on now.
I didn't say you shouldn't know about it. I just said it's weird. Right there on the record.
Is this something I should Google? Dave?
No, James. No. You're good, buddy. Just don't.
All I'm saying, James, is that there is definitely a market for the boy version of the anime girls.
Okay.
That is, first off, that's not Fujoshi, but sure. All right. Now
Close
that Dave
enough. It's close
now that Dave has managed to derail my nice, pure, innocent, fake grand order with his weird hentai bullshit, James, why don't you tell us how you've been?
Hey, we all have our origin stories, Arthur.
I've been pretty good. I've been spent this week on the Gold Coast, which is up in Brisbane. It's like one of the very touristy areas of Australia. If you've not been there, I know Arthur has. I actually found it, I say to Arthur in the pre-show, really depressing because I haven't been there in like 20 years and it hasn't really changed in 20 years, except that all the buildings that were 20 years old last time are now 40 years old and look worse. They haven't been developing it. And what's more, because like 90% of the revenue there comes from tourism, under COVID, everything's just shut down. So it's just all shuttered shops and tourist businesses. And the only area which is thriving is the area where the casino is. But the weather is nice up there. I wish I'd taken a surfboard because it was actually great surfing weather, but it was nice to be up there. Other big news, I guess, so I got the Sisters of Battle, the new codex yesterday. I've been waiting a long while for that one. So I spent all yesterday furiously running through Excel, mathing out all of the various combinations to work out what new army to build with the new codex. I finally got my Space Wolf project. I got them all the models finished, being built anyway. And I'm just trying to work out how to do my next video, whether I just take photographs of them and use them like slides, or I try and film them with a voiceover. I haven't get weathered out, but that's my sort of project for this weekend, which is actually a long weekend in Australia. Monday's a public holiday. So
which holiday is it?
The Queen's birthday, which is not actually her birthday, but every state gets a holiday. For
we do that in President's Day too. Yeah. It's not actually any president's birthday.
Yeah.
James, legitimate question. Do you have more fun planning out your armies or more fun playing with the armies that you planned out?
So under normal circumstances, Dave, I would say planning. The thing I like about the new Crusade rules is that you play, then you plan, then you play, then you plan. So it's like a cycle. I'm actually really enjoying doing both one after the other, because it's, I don't know if I mentioned it to you before, but Crusade's basically where you start with a small group of models, and as you play each game, you sort of unlock the ability to add more to your army. So it's good for people that are getting into the hobby for the first time because they can start with a smaller group and build from there. But also the games are all narrative and the models level up and get new abilities, which you don't have in the normal game. So
do you have to play that with the same people in order for that to work though?
No, because it has a balancing mechanic where, say, for example, 2 people played Crusade for several games and they leveled up their armies, and then a third person wanted to join the group. They could join with a starting army, and there is a balancing mechanic. It can get a bit out of hand. I found at like very high levels, the balancing mechanic isn't enough to compensate for it, but it's conceptually it is designed to support that. So what we've done in our group is we've just because there's like 4 of us that are playing regularly plus 2 of us that play sporadically. The 4 that play a lot just have multiple armies. So if one of the players that doesn't play a lot comes in and wants to play at a lower level, we might just use one of our lower level armies to play in it. So
have they ever made a Warhammer 40K auto chess game?
Yeah, actually. So when you say auto chess game, I mean, first off, there is a game called Regicide, which is literally a chess game on Steam which has a 40k skin.
That's not auto
No.
chess.
That's not auto chess. Auto chess is literally what you described, where like you do a battle, then you add to a pool, except the AI fights other AI and you have no control over it. All you control is like what gets added to your army base, basically.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of games. I think Sanctus Reach is like that, or one of the Steam Space Wolf games. I think is set up where you as you play each battle, you unlock more points to add force to your army, and the AI is playing in the background. And Sanctus Reach.
Okay, I'll look that up.
That. Yeah. What else? I started watching Loki with my wife. We first enjoyed the first episode. I don't want to. It feels like a show you don't want to spoil, so I'm going to leave it a good long while before I talk about it in each.
I would love to watch it.
Yeah, I suggest you do. It is worthwhile. My wife enjoyed it. I'm really glad they've done something different with every Marvel show. Like this show is demonstrably different from Falcon the Winter Soldier, which was demonstrably different from WandaVision. Like they've all got their own aesthetic, which I quite like. Other than that, still playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I started again the Old Republic with my son because he really wanted to play a Star Wars game, and so he wanted to start playing the Old Republic. So we've been playing that together. It's funny because it came out the same year he did, and I was following it like pretty rapidly through his gestation. And I remember thinking like, oh, it'd be great if I'm still playing this game when my son's old enough to play with me, and now we are. Although I'm trying to teach him not to be a dick when it comes to playing an MMO, like not to run off and not to need everything.
Okay. You're playing process. The MMO, right? Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was really excited for a second there because for some reason my entire YouTube feed filled up with KOTOR stuff, and I don't know why. Like
he started playing Knights of the Republic because he wanted to consume more Star Wars content because he started playing Star Wars Galaxies, which is like not Galaxies, sorry, Galaxy of Heroes, which is some
Galaxies
MMO.
is like
No, not MMO. So it's a what do you call it? Like one of those. It's a gotcha game on.
It's like a phone game.
Yeah, that's it. And he came to me and asked me who Revan was, so I said, okay, we'll play Knights of the Republic, and he started playing it, and I think he struggled a bit with the mechanics of the game, but from that he started playing the Old Republic. So.
Because man, I don't know. I've probably watched over the past week 9 hours of Knights of the Old Republic videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like legitimately like build guides and all that shit. I'm like, why am I doing this? I played this game like 10 years ago. Like
a good game, man.
It's still
good. It's a good game.
And once again, like speaking of spoilers, like I will never spoil the big thing of Knights of the Republic for anybody, despite its age, because it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of the reveals I've enjoyed most out of any computer game or movie I've ever been involved in. And I don't. For anyone that might pick it up and play it for the first time, I don't want to spoil that.
The only thing I say about getting that game is there's a mod that restores a lot of lost content that the original developers never finished.
You're talking about KOTOR 1 or 2 though?
Both of them have it. It's called the restored content mod for 1 and 2. And I hope you like fucking 5-hour tutorials.
I've never been able to get out of the first room.
Oh, man. Yeah, Paragus is like no joke. Yep.
In 20 years, they still can't get a patch to get you out of the first goddamn room.
I mean, my 9-year-old figured it out without assistance, Arthur, so I don't know.
That's what you sound like right now. It's a known bug, okay, James?
It's a known bug.
They probably haven't bothered because there's already been a fan-made patch.
You know what that sounds like to me, Arthur?
What does it sound like?
Excuses.
Me.
Hey, I'm just disappointed to learn that they did not fix the Conrad Werner bug in Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Although you can still solve it the same way you used to be able to solve it pre-Legendary Edition, but yeah.
Also, I heard that you can choose new Mako or bullshit Mako in the remastered version.
That's right. Yeah, you can say, I want those janky shithouse controls back. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to fly off the planet with my Mako, please.
I just googled it. Still a bug. Can't leave first room on the Endar Spire. Go fuck yourselves, guys. Suggested solutions: reinstall the game, verify the integrity, turn all effects off, disable everything.
It sounds like you've never played an old game before.
I'll tell you what, Arthur.
I played Jagged Alliance 2, motherfucker. Okay,
download the game.
Bugs.
I will start a game. I'll open the first door and I'll save it and copy the save file to you, so you can start playing from.
You know what? I'll hold you to that when I have the fucking disk space. But apparently, Arc requires half of a hard drive to operate.
Yep.
Arthur, KOTOR is so old that they were.
You need it. I've got it on my phone.
They were printing.
You know what I've got on my phone? Blizzard games, and I still wouldn't play them. Okay. Jesus. Let's do your intro, James. I've got it on my phone. Well, I'm not gonna buy it again on my phone if it still doesn't work on my fucking computer. Okay.
I mean, I played on the original Xbox.
Who plays games on their phone besides Fate Grand Order?
Yeah.
It was made for phones and it works perfectly, okay?
I play a ton of games on my phone, to be honest. Mainly puzzle games.
Get a laptop, I
really
guess.
Puzzle games. Sorry?
Oh, yeah. You know what? You do seem like a puzzle games guy.
Yeah. I found a new one this week called Mr. Logic. I've been really enjoying.
What's it called?
Mr. Logic.
Mr. Logic.
I get tired of my little games. I just, when they start hitting me with like an ad after every level, I just exit out and then delete it.
Mr. Logic's one of those. It's one of those games where, like, it says, you know, Sarah likes the color red. You know, Johnny doesn't like the color blue. You know, and the third color is green. You got to work out, like, based upon a whole bunch of different clues, what the actual matrix of what is in the game. But it gets quite complicated.
So this is a game you recommend?
I mean, I like it. It doesn't mean that you'll like it.
Do you recommend it? Do you recommend it, James?
Putting them on the spot.
I mean, it's a free download. Try it out, and you might like it.
Do you recommend it, James?
Yeah,
it's either yes or no.
Yes, give it a go.
Yes? Okay, so just want to point out, James is recommending a 2.8 star game on Android. Yeah?
Yeah.
You got him. You tricked him into recommending it, Dave.
I bet you all the reviews will complain that you can't get rid of the ads, and there is no way to pay to get rid of the ads. So every episode, it's really the game is a platform to deliver ad content, because every single level you finish, you got to watch a 10-second unskippable ad.
Oh well, this show is a platform to deliver ad content.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Twitch Prime? Still doing that shit? No? Okay.
Are we ready to get started?
Yeah, it's a bit now.
Okay.
Right, you marked it? Okay.
Of course.
Previously on Rogue Trader Tide of Iron, encountering an apparent duplicate of itself within the warp, the hand moves to fire upon its doppelganger before the mysterious facsimile disappears from sensors. For the first time in over a year, Sister Dawn receives a visitation from Talon Balewing, though the temporary connection allows demons onto the ship, resulting in a short-lived battle in the crew berths. Another demonic entity attempts to cripple the ship by controlling the crew to damage both the warp drive and the navigator's oculus. This attempt, too, is foiled. After a tumultuous few months in the warp, the Hand of Calixis finally emerges from the warp in the Port Wonder system, the last ship of its flotilla to arrive. As the Hand makes to join the various vessels around Port Wonder, a message is received from Fleet Admiral Nathaniel Horn, inviting the crew aboard his vessel, the Griffin, to plan next steps. Thought for the day: serve the Emperor today, tomorrow you may be dead. So, I believe that, when we last left off, you had literally just received a communication inviting you aboard the Mars-class battleship Griffin, Nathaniel Horn's flagship of the Passage Watch 27 Est, to talk about next steps in how we prosecute this campaign against the forces of chaos. Was there any scenes that anyone needs to do before you head over?
I'm so glad you asked, James.
I had a feeling. I don't know what it was. Something in my gut told me.
I would like to send a message to Miriam back on Priesty World.
Yep. Lycanthus.
Yep. I want to inquire with her about, first off, whether, her memory's been wiped and all the instructions I threatened the old woman with were all followed, that Miriam be left alone and allowed to continue her research. Second is for Miriam to, to begin work collecting information about a theoretical pairing between my daughter, Princess Violetta Lucretia Sabrine, Duchess of Gorgamid, and the theoretical offspring of Pierre Cowles and any likely partners he has.
Okay.
Both genetically and, financially, culturally, morally, whether this would be a good and or optimal pairing for everyone involved.
I don't even have a kid yet.
Yeah, but this is the fucking... Listen, man, this is the fucking Warhammer 40K. I could die on this mission. I ain't got time to wait for you to have a kid. I'm getting on the reserve list, okay?
Listen, if Nero dies, Pierre is sure to follow suit after.
I'm going to say, there's like two lines that are keeping me alive. First is Dawn.
There's several times I've almost died. And he hasn't even been near. Remember when we were fighting in the Foundry? There were two giant demon thingies.
Yeah.
I was somewhere.
I could have died, and Pierre would have been fine. He was outside fighting a single dude, one dude. I was fighting like hundreds of dudes.
One dude.
I mean, I could have taken care of that dude in like 5 seconds, but
yes, I'm not you though.
I know. But I literally walk at the front of the party, and more importantly, I have Guardian just so I can swap places with you in case you're about to die.
I will admit, Spoon, that when I used to be a bodyguard, people would say to me, "Would you take a bullet?" I'd always answer no, because most assassins bring more than one bullet. It's like bang, oh, I killed the bodyguard. Okay, bang, there we go.
Yeah,
that's logical. Yes.
Hey man, Frank Farmer was really pissed he wasn't there the day the president got shot, okay? That's all you need to know about that, okay? He would have taken that bullet for sure.
So yes, as far as that fight with the Obliterate I did learn I need to get better weapons for our mercenaries.
Did anyone get that reference at all?
No.
Did anyone get that?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know who that is.
Come on, fucking Bodyguard, the movie? Come on,
sorry.
man. Jesus.
I thought he was there though in that scene. He just didn't get that time.
No, Frank Farmer was taking a fucking holiday that day. By the way, his name is Frank Farmer, by the way. That always tripped me out about that movie. Anyway.
So I get added to our, I don't know that I get added to any list, but I definitely want to be at the top of whatever list either I summon into existence or eventually comes into existence.
All right, message sent to Miriam. You won't get an immediate response. It's ways to go.
I expect it will take a slight bit of time.
Yeah.
All right. Then I get on the shuttle to go to this meeting.
All right. Could I have everybody who's going on the shuttle please give me an awareness roll?
Damn it, James. Why do you do this to us?
Just real quickly remind me, where is this shuttle going?
To the Griffin, which is the flagship of the Navy fleet here, to meet with the head of the Navy fleet.
Any bonuses or negatives?
Yeah, plus 10, please.
Okay, let me just real quickly log into this unrelated website.
Yeah, so
definitely.
I was on Roll20 getting ready for this game about 24 hours ago, and you were logged into it, Dave. So I don't know if you've left. I thought maybe Dave's his character sheet. I thought no, that can't be right. So you must have some sort of presence which has been trapped in the matrix of Roll20.
I don't know how he manages to not be logged in every time. Time he has 2 shows a week. One show a week, and one show about once or twice a month.
How many times do you think I rolled dice, Pondo the Mad? That's the difference between
combat quite a bit.
I don't roll any dice. until this combat, and then I'm firing on all cylinders at that point. You know,
it's the one thing I've learned about playing Cyberpunk once again with Arthur is it's a problem that I like to sort of say a good succession you don't roll dice, and then you get no XP for it.
Yeah.
So I guess in Cyberpunk's case, if you don't roll dice, it's a bad session, I suppose.
Listen, it's not like this game. I ask you guys to roll dice when you do a thing.
Yeah.
Can I re-roll that, please, James?
Yeah, because we don't need all that fanfare just for you to fail. So,
yeah. I mean, I also rolled a 97, so you know, that's better. I'll take that.
There we go. Okay.
Fucking swingy ass D100s tonight, fellas. Mm-hmm. 97 to 10. Yeah.
Along with all of the naval ships here, there is an extra ship which is it's clearly been in some sort of battle. Like it's heavily damaged. It's sort of at a low anchor near Port Wanda. It's frigate scale. It's not a design any of you recognize unless you can make a common law war roll at +10. But it's definitely, although it's Imperial, you can tell it's a very old design. Something that hasn't been used in a long time.
Would you take a common law Navy?
At a +0.
Okay.
I have common law Imperial Creed and Scholastic law Imperial Creed and common law Imperium.
None of those.
Nice. I also have Medicaid. What? No, I'm kidding.
I have Scholastic War, Tactical Imperialis, Forbidden Lore Inquisition. I probably have nothing.
No, I'd also take Forbidden Law Heresy.
Got that. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'm trying to invest in knowledges.
Is that? Did you say it was +10 or no?
No, +0 for Forbidden Law Heresy.
+0. All right. Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing I have been trying to get into is.
All right. So, Nero, Adrian, and Dawn all recognize the ship configuration as an iconoclast destroyer. They are not a ship which the Imperium has ever built. They are a ship which Chaos fleets have built based on Imperial designs. They're like a small attack craft. Usually, they're usually employed to shoot down enemy torpedoes before they can reach bigger capital ships. This one has been heavily damaged and is effectively captured. It is moored near the station while crews go over it.
Okay, so it's captured, so it's no threat to anyone. Basically,
that's right. Yeah, it looks like it's not. It's effectively hulked. It's non-functional right now.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
Sure, or you can strap rocket boosters on it and just send it at somebody.
So the Griffin, as you approach it, is a behemoth of a ship, easily 3 times the length of the Hand of Calixis, and its pure dominating feature is the gigantic Nova Cannon, which extends from the front of its prow. A Nova Cannon is effectively like a giant space shotgun, which can take out multiple ships with a single shot. Yeah, incredibly devastating, incredibly hard to produce and maintain. But this particular Mars pattern battle cruiser mounts one. Yeah, the ship goes. If the ship flies into the bay, it's a hive of activity. You know, there are soldiers running about preparing like small lighters. Clearly, there's a lot of activity. You know, people being sent to and from other ships in the flotilla, people being sent to and from Port Wanda, and there is a naval escort waiting for you as you come down the gangway. A lieutenant greets you. Lord Commodore Cowles, welcome aboard the Griffin. I'm here to escort you to meet with Fleet Admiral Horn. I have a golf cart ready.
Excellent. What will be the estimated time of arrival?
About 25 minutes.
Ooh, we're speeding today, aren't we?
Nero puts on his sunglasses and says, "We'll take 5 minutes off that."
I'm switching this thing to rabbit.
Yeah. Like, Jesus. Gets in the driver's seat.
I go to the gas tank. I pour in a little ethyl alcohol there.
A bit of rancor.
As we're preparing to get onto the golf cart, I turn to Adrian and say, Adrian, you might be the best person to ask this, but how likely is it that a ship would have a single word as its title? Does that generally say it's like an older ship, like one of the first ones ever made? Because eventually you would run out of single words to call a ship, right?
Typically, yes, you would. That is, the newer a ship is, the longer the name usually.
So would you say that this ship is quite old then?
I mean, most Imperial Navy ships are relatively old. I don't know the specific history of the Griffin, but
so to answer Dave's question, so it would imply it's quite old. So first off, the first production of any ship was called what the ship name is. So the first Mars-class battle cruiser was called the Mars, for example. The first Lunar-class cruiser was called the Luna, etc. And then they did tend to have short names because these ships were built before the Imperium as it is today existed, before you had this whole religious cult aesthetic, where it was more like about, it was more like how ships are named today. They're named after people, or they're named after places, or they're named after myth, like the dragon, all that sort of thing. Then you had a series where the ships had combination names, like if you like how German works, where you'd have things like the Fast Star, but put together as a single word, but combining like a composite word of two other words. And then as the Imperium became more sort of like it is today, you had words like, or names like, the abundance of faith, or the fist of torment, or the like. So yeah, it would imply this is quite an old ship, probably pre-heresy. Go ahead.
Because I imagine the follow-up ships would be something like the dubious Griffin rather than just the Griffin.
So yeah, as you go through the corridors here, it's classic military ship. Everything is ordered. People are marching by in lockstep to do their jobs. Even the perfunctory crew here are all naval ratings as such, so they all have some basic sub rank to go by, rather than just being recruited crew to run the bilges, etc. When you arrive at the Strategium, it is a massive chamber, almost like a theatre in the round. So effectively, the Strategium table is at the base with the pewed seating around it, so that if you needed to brief an entire task force or landing group, for example, you could bring easily 100 people or so in here to hear the briefing. But when you come in, there's probably about 20 people down in the central stage, most of which, or pretty much all of which, are wearing naval uniform. There's a couple of people there that like maybe Mechanicus robes, probably a priest as well, just overseeing things. And their Strategium is old enough to have like a hololith display that's actually displaying like a 3-dimensional map of the Koronus Expanse, and it's focused on the Maw right now, showing the 4 stations of passage, and along with Port Wander and Footfall, and there's obviously little ship icons indicating where various things are. And you're escorted down to the central stage, where a man approaches you. Nathaniel Horn is quite a tall man, standing about 6'4". He has a long naval greatcoat with lots of tassels and epaulets, and well, only 2 epaulets obviously, but like the long tasseled epaulets, like a wide metal bars. He's clearly spent at least a few centuries in service to the Empire. He looks to be in his late 60s by our standards. So he's got thin grey hair, bald on top, a scar which runs through one eye, which has not been augmented, so the eye is milky white. Although you can see like small mechanical points where he could plug in an augmenting if required. He's not wearing it right now. And he does also walk with a cane that you get is not an affectation. He actually does have a decided limp in his gait as he approaches you. Lord Commodore, you must be the Pierre Cowles I've heard so much about. Yes? No? Is extending his hand towards? Is extending your hand?
I was muted.
Oh, there you go.
sorry.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't even see your lips move.
I'm just stone facing this guy.
Yes.
Do I talk first? Do you talk first?
Yes, it's a pleasure to meet you, Admiral.
Nero steps forward with a gift basket of Renka and various cheeses and, of course, like pheasant jerky.
He has a look at it and like summons over somebody to, and he nods to acknowledgement and thanks, but sort of doesn't offer much more than that. And a servant comes and takes it away.
Of course.
Welcome to you and your crew aboard the Griffin. We have much to discuss. I've had a brief chance. Oh, and by the way, the captain of the naval group that you arrive with is here as well, along with the other two captains.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a chance to speak with Captain Ertelt. And he told me of your flotilla. I need to clear the room. If you're supposed to be in here, you'll know it. Otherwise, everyone else leave. He turns to you. Your men can stay. And
Excellent.
most of the people leave the room. Still in the room after they all clear out is obviously yourselves. Horn himself. There are you also recognize Larius Sands, the commander of Port Wanda, who was the one that actually conveyed your title to you once all the legal stuff was sorted out. Ertelt, Jacinto Ertelt, is the only captain you put with you that remains. The other two leave. There are also 2 more women and 2 more men, all of which have are clearly naval captains. So it's all captains here except for Nero, Adrian, and Dawn.
Sir, please correct yourself. Adrian is a captain. I believe you'll find his resume says that he is in fact captain of the Hand of Calixis.
He's
He's the first officer, I thought.
I believe he's the captain, and Pierre serves as the flag officer.
Sure. I don't know if we want to go correcting the fleet admiral about.
No. I'm correcting the DM based on my understanding. Okay. I thought you were the captain now.
Dave's technically correct, man. You saved us once again.
It's true. I do what I can.
Once they all leave, like there, you can definitely hear that like the doors to the chamber have been locked, and like a dull electronic hum comes on. That those of you that are more tech savvy might associate with some sort of stummer or anti eavesdropping device.
Oh, so white noise. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Lord Commodore, I have received a briefing communication from a inquisitor by the name of Cassius Schrain, who I believe you are acquainted with.
Yes, he's the one that informed me of the situation with the Jericho warp gate.
Yes.
Several eyes roll at the same time.
He tells me that you and your crew are briefed both on the existence of the warp gate and Zone 15, along with the 13th station of passage.
Indeed.
Everyone in this room, he indicates the other captains, are briefed in on this matter. The other captains and crew involved are not. So we can have this conversation now in terms of tackling our next steps, keeping in mind the existence of those 2 locations. But once we leave this room, communications need to ensure the secrecy of those where possible. Am I clear in this matter? Very good. Yes. So he points towards the whole of this display. As you can see here, we've managed to get some intel from both the battleground and battleground and Witch-Curse world. Yeah, battleground in the Witch-Curse world. According to our scout forces, there are roughly 24 vessels now occupying the battleground station. They appear to be led by a battleship of some unknown configuration. Definitely chaos, but not something that the Scouts War Books was able to identify. A ship which seems to put even the Griffin to shame in terms of its size. With that being said, while it's supported by a couple of cruisers, the remaining vessels in Battleground appear to be all largely frigates or smaller support vessels. At this point in time, our scouts have only reported that they appear to be station keeping in the Battleground, forming a naval blockade. There's been no other activities at that particular station. With regard to the Witch Curse world, we are aware that there is less than a half dozen ships there. However, reports are that the forces there are doing something which appears to be causing warp energy to bleed into real space. Whether they are attempting to construct some sort of stable warp gate is unclear. Any ships that we've sent there have not returned. The only intel we have is because a group of navalmen who are from a captured ship, the Inevitable Wrath, were able to capture a Chaos ship and escape to this sector. They have been detained and debriefed aboard Port Wanda. Thus, we have some intel about what's been happening at the Witch Curse world. Apparently, ships that have actually arrived there to attack, according to the escapees, have been overwhelmed by the chaos energy of the warp incursion and have been unable to escape as the remaining ships have turned their guns on them. That, of course, leaves Zone 15, which we have access to because those of us that are aware of its location can reach it without having to pass through one of the other stations. However, we've not yet sent scouts, as the concern came from the Inquisition that if the Chaos fleets were not aware of the warp gate's existence, that sending scouts there may bring it to their attention. So we don't yet know what the situation is at the Jericho warp gate, nor have we bothered to send a fleet to Station 13 because presumably this fleet came from there. So we either find more ships or other problems. We're more concerned with securing the Moor. We've had no regular communication from Footfall since this fleet moved in. The warp itself has been particularly fickle through the Moor as well, which has limited our ship's ability to transfer through. Now, we have roughly, well, now adding your flotilla in, we have a little over 20 ships. For those of you in Roll20, I've shared with you a list of all the ships currently in dock at Port Wanda now, naval ships and your ships.
Okay.
So we have, until now, spent most of our time simply securing this location, making sure that if the Chaos fleet does advance, that it is held here at Port Wanda. Port Wanda in itself is a formidable battle station, and even if those ships were to attack in those numbers, it would be difficult for them to pass this point between this fleet and the station. But this response so far has been quite passive. We are not getting any closer to removing the Chaos fleet from the Moor. And if we can't clear the Moor, we lose the Expanse.
Indeed.
Now that you're here, I hope that you might join us in the conversation about how we tackle this particular problem. I had considered asking that you and your flotilla might garrison Port Wanda while the naval fleet attempts to engage the Chaos fleet in the Moor. But I'd have your counsel on this.
One question I do have to ask about the cruiser or the vessel that they have that seems to, as you said, almost not really dwarf, but make the Griffin feel smaller. Then, is there a physical description of the vessel?
He types a few things on a console, and like a grainy image comes up. Like imagine a sort of photograph that someone might get on an auger in the middle of a space battle, It's like
now I'm imagining like 1990s X-Files UFO pictures.
UFO sighting type thing. Yeah,
it's so triangular.
Yeah,
you can just barely make it out.
Yeah, of a gigantic ship. Give me. I would take common law war at -10, or scholastic law history at +0, which I don't think anyone's got. So it's war at -10.
Yeah, I did amazing. I must have rolled like a 2 or something. Yep, I rolled a 2. I know what the ship is.
Okay.
Seen it in the skies.
I have this like long list of like all these lores that I have, and I keep getting hit with the ones I don't have.
So
I new one this and they doesn't show up.
In terms of Space Marine vessels, there are really 2 types of vessels that Space Marines commonly use. They use things called battle barges, and they use strike cruisers, which are purpose-built ships for Space Marines. This ship looks like a precursor ship to a battle barge, like one of the designs that battle barges were later based on.
So, like, what were they called? Like Thunder Warriors or something?
Or probably, I mean, even before you had they were the sort of vessels that would be used for like an invasion force. Okay. And although before Space Marines were really a thing, they were then repurposed later on to suit Space Marines.
So it like predates the Imperium, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like
it'd be like Unification Wars era.
I recognize this. Predates the Imperium. Planetary assault ship. You don't leave something like that on defensive purposes.
But what do they plan to invade?
Everywhere. They're chaos.
So, any other questions that you have about what I've briefed you on?
We have a contract as rogue traders with an Inquisitor to carry out orders. It would be contrary to that for us to remain here in garrison.
We don't have a contract, Nero. We never signed a single contract.
Okay. But let's reverse that real quick. We have a verbal agreement with him that we're out here to do this. That is a contract.
No, it's a verbal a contract.
I think you'll find a verbal agreement is a contract, and you'll find it legally binding in all 50 states of America.
This isn't America. This is the Imperium.
You think you'll find that the Imperium's law is based on UK common law. So guess what? It's still binding.
Oh yeah, all of the segmentums of the Imperium.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know more about the escaped naval crew that brought you intel on the Witch Cursed world.
So, Spoon, I'm going to give you as a free one that the Inevitable Wrath, which you mentioned, was the naval ship that you used to serve on that you'd heard had been lost in. Yep.
Captain Bertazet.
Yep. So as I said, the soldiers, well, the crew aboard the Inevitable Wrath were transferred to a Chaos slave ship and forced to work in the ship. They were able to overcome their captors and gain control of the ship and bring it back here under fire. We, of course, had to assume that they had been potentially corrupted by the time they'd spent in the custody of Chaos forces. Although what I will say is that the intel they provided us so far has been flawless. Everything we've checked, everything they've reported, they've given us significant intel against the enemy. We have kept the crew under guard, so to speak. Under they're not in prison. They are able to carry out duties aboard Port Wanda, but they are monitored while we wait for a decision from the Inquisition about how to handle them. But so far they have, acted in a manner which leads me to believe that they are on our side still.
I am loath to trust any information that comes from Chaos. We've been lied to many times before.
Yes.
That's why
I go ahead.
I trained under an Inquisitor in the arts of questioning. I would be willing to put my services on the line to ensure that these naval ratings are really telling the truth.
Nero, they already double checked all the information they had.
Yes. I
going to
remind
triple
you. Okay, so I don't know. I'd say something in Rogue Trader Camp to remind you that, the God, what was the name of the horrible AI robot from season 1?
The Scion, the Last Scion.
Yeah, the Last Scion. Literally barely didn't lie to us at any point and then betrayed us at the last moment. I was just like, Captain, it's happened before. It would be okay to just make sure.
The admiral sort of cuts in over Pierre. Says, "No, your man speaks well, Lord Commodore. The reason I obviously prefaced the information from the Witch Curse world with information about how it was obtained was because we are treating it with a degree of concern. We should assume that we are acting as though it's true, but assuming it could also be a lie. And our plan should recognize that. And if you believe that you have ways to get more information from those men, then I would encourage you to use it, especially if you are, as you claim to be, trained by the Inquisition."
I'm going to turn and look at Don and say, I believe that you could be of assistance after I'm done with them. Your ceremony?
You just hit knuckles cracking.
It worked wonders for me.
And to correct you on one thing, so I don't know your name, he indicates towards Nero.
Master Gunnery, Nero, Julius, Augustus, Bullet, Baron of Salsa Secunda. That's not the name of the world.
Saphira Secundus.
Salsa
the second
lunch at the moment.
The second
Baron of second breakfasts and sausages and Secundus. Yeah.
To correct you there, Baron, these are not merely ratings. These are navalmen, officers that were able to capture the ship as well.
No, I haven't tortured an officer yet. First time for everything. Nero's checked out of this conversation. He's got out like a notepad and he's just making sure he knows what tools to bring. Yeah. Pain device 1, pain device 2.
You need to get yourself an excruciator.
As far as maybe obtaining some more reinforcements, I can see if Inquisitor Shrank can either help us get in contact with or get in contact with the Death Watch. Is it a station or a world?
It's a watch fortress. Yeah,
it's on the other side of the Jericho Warp Gate, and we can't get in. It's that we can't get into contact with it, right? Like, we're here to get through to that side.
Yeah, so this is the issue: is that the Death Watch rely upon naval ships that are briefed in on it to come into the Jericho Warp Gate to transport them around to their encounters.
Okay.
So they're stuck on the watch fortress while you guys can't access the Warp Gate.
We are the reinforcements.
Yeah. You are the brute squad.
Okay.
I literally went out of my way to reinforce our reinforcements. We had a whole episode about it.
Fleet Admiral,
I forgot about the minor dude. It was a couple weeks ago.
Yes, Captain.
What is your so your plan of attack is currently to take your fleet here without our task force and attack the battleground?
So this is where we are conflicted, because we could take our fleet as it is to Zone 15 to secure it. The issue there is that there are only a handful, and he indicates towards the captains here present, of captains within my fleet who are briefed in on Zone 15 right now. And if we took only those ships, I'm not sure whether we'd have sufficient forces to take on this battle barge, as you say, or this pre-heresy ship and its escort. Likewise, if we sent our entire fleet to the battleground, it could be a substantial battle. There are 25 ships here, including yours. We can't leave Port Wanda completely undefended. There are 24 Chaos ships at battleground, and they are already established. So While charging into the breach is one possibility. If you have other ideas, I'd like to hear them. I guess our objectives are in this: ensure that Port Wander is still protected, secure or discover the condition of Zone 15. Now, I have orders to, if I cannot secure the Jericho Warp Gate, to destroy it. However, with everything we have here, I think we lack the firepower to actually destroy the gate. If such a thing was even possible.
Even with your Nova Cannon?
You've not seen the gate, I take it.
Not personally yet.
No. When you do, you'll understand.
Very well.
So if you do.
Out of character, is there like some way you could feign your location? Like, say, you want to take a whole bunch of ships and kind of hide them or like take them out of certain like auger ray area. Essentially,
so potentially
people away, wait for them to pop out, and then come back in.
So one possibility is that a larger force could assault either the Witch-Cursed world or the battleground, drawing the attention of the Chaos forces, allowing a smaller group or even a single ship to make it through to Zone 15 undetected. But we need to be aware that the Chaos forces are probably watching our position through whatever foul sorcery they have as best they can. We would need a significant distraction if we were to try and sneak something by them.
This is where in 2020 hindsight is, where maybe we should have the orcs come in and cause a ruckus.
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
You take your current fleet, attack the battlegrounds. If the Lord Commodore assents to it, we leave the Eternal Praetorian and the Gilded Throne here, perhaps along with the escort frigates that we have brought, and we take the Hand of Calixis to Station 15.
Zone 15.
Zone 15, sorry. Either just the Hand of Calixis or the Hand of Calixis and the Fist of Ruin and its escorts. And so that they will be too busy fighting you to notice our small force arriving at Zone 15.
So at this point, Jacinto Hotel, the captain you want with you, chips in. Just so you're aware, Captain, Captains Bradis and Insognia are not briefed in on Zone 15. So just in terms of the captains who are here and the ships that are briefed in, just so you know. So looking at the ship list, the Griffin, the Stormwind, the Hand of Redemption, the Swift Shore, the Lord Marius Hax and its escorts, and just the Fist of Ruin are briefed in.
Okay. James, for us, it's just like looking at a list of stuff, and we don't have the same picture that you do. And of course, we are not military strategists. Can I suggest something and then make a roll to see if that would actually be a good idea?
100%.
But before you do that, my other question is this just all of the ships? Like, is this including... It's not including any sort of like, I don't know, like mercenary ships that might be at Port Wonder, or... We are the mercenary ships.
Yeah.
I mean, like, other than us.
So the only other ships in Port Wonder, there's probably a couple of Chartist vessels that aren't military, aren't capable of combat.
Okay, so nothing really else that's able of space. Okay.
No.
I mean, in any other situation, this force is pretty fucking huge.
Right. But it's kind of... If it's like 24 ships over there and
This is a big game of Gothic Armada.
You have 25 ships in in Port Wonder right now.
And we're saying we're going to leave. Ideally, we'd leave probably like the Gilded Throne, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I specifically chose our ships to leave behind just so that they aren't destroyed in battle if they lose.
I mean, if you talk about a big space battle, it's not a case of your 25 ships have to destroy their 24. If you take out their flagship and maybe a couple of their cruisers, the rest may flee, for example.
Right. Yeah, and like that's the idea basically is we have to hit their flagship, like the big battleship, with enough force to blow it up, and then the rest of them will scatter.
All right. So the second question is, you said that they had pretty much one big ship, and then what? A couple of cruisers.
A couple of cruisers, and the rest are mainly frigates.
And we have quite a bit of cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is they have one big ship. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so my thought is that the Griffin specifically, as an anti-capital ship, needs to be the one to go to the battleground to fight the other ship. In addition to that, the fighter carriers absolutely need to be there as well, because if they're low on defensive escorts, then that's exactly what you want fighters for. So we do a two-prong approach, and we let the Griffin go lead the rest of the fleet, minus some frigates, to defend this location. Because of course we could jump to them and they could jump to us, and then it would just be a huge fucking clusterfuck. Given the amount of time it takes, there could be a serious issue. But essentially we go as close to all in as possible. The Griffin and its fleet jumps to the battleground and attempts to engage there. We take the Stormwind, the Hand of Redemption, the Swiftshore, Maris Hacks, and escorts, and our 6-ship fleet, and we basically overpower the Witch Curse world immediately. Like, we arrive, we just fucking destroy them. And now here's the thing. I know you say that the other 2 captains that are with us, that we've got in our escort group, have not been briefed on the existence of Zone 15 and all that stuff, right?
They can be as well.
Yes, I know. And I will assume that they must be, because they've essentially been pre-promised a reward from an Inquisitor. So I assume that he would like them to go there, because that's why we brought them along.
Yeah, so he has given you the authority in his stead, the Inquisitor, to brief them in as necessary.
So we'll take that fleet and we will overwhelm Witch Curse World. And at that point, we will take our 6-ship fleet to Zone 15. Just immediate, like, as soon as the battle's over, do whatever hasty repairs we need to do and then get underway. And the fleet led by the Stormwind will then jump to support the Griffin's fleet. We don't need to hang around the Witch Curse World. There's nothing there. So as soon as we solve the problem there, they can go and help reinforce the battleground. I'm aware that could be a difference of days or maybe weeks, but some of these space engagements in Warhammer 40K last fucking millennia. So
the only thing that Adrian would say in that is that if we take the Stormwind as well.
Yes, I assume that the Stormwind is just going to allow us to bully Witch Curse World, and
there's less than 6 ships at the Witch Curse World. So if we take one of the cruisers, one of the light cruisers, and then our ship and our frigate group, we should be fine. Because who knows what this thing is armed, what this big battle cruiser or this battle barge precursor is armed with, and so if it can one-shot the Griffin, then the rest of that fleet is screwed. But if the Stormwind is also there, there's a possibility that they will be able to recover.
Okay. So Nero has no objection to that. It just thinks we need to bring enough ships to overwhelm Witch Curse World immediately. Before we move ahead, we need to wipe everything else off the board in a lightning attack.
So with Nero's 2 on his earlier common law war roll,
Sure.
you would know that these invasion vessels, like the one you suspect this one is, they're not really fitted out for ship-to-ship combat.
Yes.
They're escorts get them to the planet, and they then land stuff on the planet, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, I bring that up. I just bring up that I don't think that, like, it's a big ship and it's going to take a long time to fight, but I don't think that it's going to be very well suited to a fleet engagement. It's just going to take a while to crack open. And probably there'll be a lot of heretics to kill on board. Yeah, I mean, whether we bring the Stormwind or not, the Hand of Redemption, the Swiftsure, and the Lord Mayor's hacks and escorts will allow us to just defeat the Witchcross world so we don't have to worry about what's behind us.
Maybe the Stormwind stays here.
That's sure. I don't know. I turned to the Admiral Nathaniel Horn. I'm just like, what do you think? You're the military fleet admiral. I'm just a guy who shoots guns and destroys things.
No, you bring up some good elements. As I said, you have more experience with the matters of chaos than other than fighting it. You understand, as Inquisitors or Agents of Inquisition, better how to anticipate their moves. And I agree, leaving the Stormwind here is good. And you sort of see like a woman, one of the captains.
I was going to ask.
Sort of like she said, but Admiral is like, no, this is. I think this is a good suggestion. Your general use, heavy armored, you can better defend the port here.
So,
we've talked ourselves into what he wanted.
Out of character, I keep hearing about the Witch Curse world. Is there actual planet there?
Yes. So remember, the Witch Curse world you visited once, and your astropath was hearing like a distress beacon coming from the planet, but no one that goes there ever comes back.
Yep.
Okay. Then
and there's some
lookovers like we shouldn't disregard the fact that they could have set up some sort of planetary defense there. So
isn't the Cowles Hermitage station over the Witchcourse world? Or am I wrong?
No, the Hermitage is beyond. So there are 4 regular stations of passage.
Right.
The Battleground, the Witchcurse world, the Temple, and the Hermitage.
Yep.
You've got to pass through 2 of them. The first one has to be either Witchcurse world or Battleground. Second has to be the Temple or the Hermitage. So you don't know the situation with the 2 remaining. All you know is that the first 2 are blocked up with Chaos ships.
No one's ever gone to the Witchcurse world, sir. It's crazy.
Yes, but it's chaos, so they are crazy.
And according to the intel brought back by the crew of the Inevitable Wrath, there's some warp fuckery going on there.
So Nero just glances at Dawn and says, "We'll find out more about that. We'll see how accurate those descriptions are." So Stormwind stays here with some escorts. Griffin takes the bulk of the fleet, and we'll take everyone that's cleared to go onward to Zone 15, just in case we need them. Blitz Battleground and Witchcurse World, and we'll head on to complete our mission, I guess. I don't know if you want me to make a roll at this point, or...
No, I think that, I don't need a roll to say that this is a good plan. Do you feel it's a good plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I concur.
Nero packs it up. It's been a good day for him. Torture, Inquisition-y stuff.
Yeah. In fact, anyone that wants to give me an insight roll +0.
Oh, no.
Scrutiny?
Scrutiny. Yeah. Insight's D&D 5th ed.
Oh, here goes my 15. I got pretty close.
I got a 1.
There we go.
Dang, Adrian's really good at scrutinizing.
Okay, no worries. So those of you that pass, everyone except for Nero would say that in many ways, Horn is the sort of he's a good soldier who follows orders well, who's elevated to a position where he's expected to give orders and is second guessing himself a lot. So all it took was somebody to come up with a plan that was sound for Horn to act on it. But he's not the sort of person that under his own initiative will. He's a classic example of Peter's principle. If you're familiar with Peter's principle, where he's risen to the level of his own competence. So he's very good captain, but now he's in charge of a group. He's struggling with what to do next. So you've given him the out by giving him a good plan.
Perfect.
All right. So as you're leaving the Strategium, Spoon, just outside the door is Samara Bradis, the captain that you caught up with before.
Yes.
Adrian, you have a moment?
Of course.
I just heard that some of the crew of the Inevitable Wrath got out and they're on board Port Wanda.
Yes, I've heard the same, actually. I believe some of my companions and I are going to be speaking with them later today.
They said that Captain Bertazet wasn't among them. They said that Durand's the first officer. It's this person you know as well. He was leading the group. If you're going to go and see them, maybe is there a way that I could join you, or at least I'd just like to. I served aboard that ship too. I'd like to know more about what happened to them.
Nero butts in from behind and says, "Oh, I recognize you, Samara, right? What was your rank?"
Captain.
Captain. Well, Captain Adrian here was going to have a meal with us, but Dawn and I are just so busy. Could you be his dinner companion? No subtlety. No. I want to be very clear. This is beyond Nero not having subtlety. This is Nero just flat out pushing these two towards each other.
Well, this is not Henriette, right? This is somebody that we met a long time ago.
Sorry, wait a minute. Sorry. I might have got the two caps. Sorry, it was Henriette was the one that you were out with.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
So it should be Henriette and Sonia. Sorry. Okay, my mistake. So take all that back. This is Henriette and Sonia that was the one.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And this is who Nero is trying to hook Adrian up with.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Nero's no chill when it comes to matters of romance. Listen, out of all the cast members, he's the only one that has a kid now.
Sorry. So yes, this is the one that you served in the went to the UK with and served on the Wrath with before.
Right. Okay. I think Adrian kind of looks at Nero and says in Rogue Trader Camp, he's like, "How far are you planning to go with this interrogation?"
At this point, Nero pulls out some gloves and snaps them on and says, "My good captain, I was trained by an Inquisitor. You go as far as it takes to get what you need. The lies of chaos run deep."
So can I just quickly say, I just want to set the scene here. This woman has come up to talk to Adrian about something and suddenly had Nero walk up, suggests they go on a date.
Yep. Then
they've spoken in double speak to each other, and Nero snapped on some rubber gloves.
I feel like Nero answered.
She's looking decidedly uncomfortable.
No. Nero answered in low Gothic.
Yeah, okay, nice.
He wouldn't answer in Rogue Trader Camp. Yeah.
Okay.
Captain Henrietta, you have some interest in the interrogation?
Well, I, like Adrian, served on the vessel with these men many years ago. I know a lot of them.
They're former comrades of ours.
I can promise nothing, but if they are still able to speak after Dawn's ceremony, you may meet with them. You kids have fun. Dawn and I have some pressing business over there. Leaves with zero chill.
All right. All right. So, Pierre, what are you going to do now at this point?
You're muted.
You unmute yourself first. That's the first step in life.
I'm going to unmute myself first and probably I think he's probably going to go visit his estate and go stooping around there just in case there's any more secret stuff that his mother had.
So you're heading to Port Wanda for the to go visit your estate houses?
Yeah, and maybe mingle with some of the other nobles there.
Okay. Adrian, what did you want to do with Henrietta?
I mean, I guess we'll go get something to eat and then go back to, or give Nero some time to conduct his interrogations, and then go see Duran.
Okay, so you're heading to Port Wanda then for this?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so so everyone, from what I can pick up, is heading from the Griffin to Port Wanda.
The station is attacked while we're there.
Nero, as you're making your way back towards the shuttle to take you to Port Wanda, you get a Vox hail coming from the Hand.
All right, I answer it at the nearest secure area.
All right. It's Riani.
I'm like, oh, what's up, Riani?
Yeah. Nero, is everything okay over there?
Just preparing for some light torture. Why? What's wrong?
No, that tumultuous warp has followed us here. I've just something has got the seas of the warp in a huff. I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
Let me ask you a question, Riani. Have you ever heard about chaos fleets like parking themselves near significant locations and causing warp disturbances that can travel long distances?
I know that chaos forces have done things in the past to impact the warp. I can believe if we're this close to a chaos fleet, as I've been told, then what's happening could be planned. Not just
could this be a precursor to invasion?
It's one possibility.
Okay.
I would think that if they plan to invade, I'm surprised that we could get here at all. Like as it stands, I don't think that I could navigate us back out of this system in the current climate.
So what you're saying is we're trapped here now.
Uncomfortably.
And when you say
yes.
this system, you mean we can't leave to go anywhere, not just back out of the maw.
I mean, we could go deeper, but we can't go back easily right now.
That's a trap. Yeah. Okay.
You pass that save point where it says, make sure you've completed all your side quests.
Yeah.
We ignored the other side quests and actually went ahead of the story.
When you talk, we did almost every side quest.
That's right. Yeah. You're right now. You're sitting in embers. Having a conversation with Lady Arasaka.
We've got so many DLC additions as well. We have Zaid Masani in our party for some reason. He's literally just standing next to Nero, and they occupy the same use class, so there's no point to having two of them. I'm just gonna say, okay, Riani, this is what I would like you to do. Please do your best to contact all of the other officials who occupy the same spot as you in the ships gathered here, and quietly inquires if there's anything all of you can do in a combined way to foresee any disturbances incoming. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. I will pass it along to the captain, but it does seem like we're trapped.
Okay. Good luck with your torture, I guess.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We should catch a business lunch again sometime. It's been a while since you've had some screen time. All right, as we're stepping on the shuttle, I turn to the captain and go, well, warp's haunted. We can't go home anymore. Have to go through.
Is the warp not haunted?
Well, the warp here is more tumultuous than normal. Riani's concerned.
Oh, I see.
Hey, did you ever follow up with our chief engineer about the weird thing that was repairing our ship randomly?
I thought you were handling that.
Oh, well, I passed it along to you. As we say that, the shuttle takes Something explodes in the ship in the distance.
It's probably a good chance for a break, I think.
I know.
Yep.
So good.
Fell through the cracks of middle management.
Hey, I passed it along after a sufficiently long amount of time to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, but you said it said it wasn't really an issue, so
I know. I'll do what I can. She brought me nothing. What do you want me to do?
That is officially an SEP, somebody else's problem.
All right, we'll be back for the second half in 8 minutes. Stick around.